Good morning, all, or shall I say, warriors. My name's Adam Duval, aka the Mental Health Warrior, and we're here breaking the stigma of mental health and also getting people's stories out there. I'm melting, so if you see me doing that, don't laugh. Who knows? For the first time, we're actually joined by a dating doctor. Now, I've never come across one in my life before. Never. So all I've got to say is welcome, Kim.
Thanks, Adam, for having me. I'm really excited to be here over in Sydney, Australia.
Another Australian. See, I come across a lot. I'm very popular in Australia. We are. We've interviewed Alan Stevens, Scott Carson, Sharon Chimello, all sorts. And now, so very popular in Australia. I may as well move over there.
I think you should. I think.
Don't know whereabouts yet. Don't know whereabouts. But anyway, so I'm just going to throw quick fire questions at you to lighten the mood. People in the comments, tell me, Facebook, YouTube, tell me who you are, and let's hear your story. And if you've got any questions for Kim, throw it there. She's got no limits. Who knows? So I'm going to say rain or snow?
Rain or snow? Rain. I'd pick rain.
Rain, absolutely. My partner's on as well. Hello, Kerry. I'm going to actually ask her question to you as well. Does pineapple belong on pizzas?
Yes, it does. I actually had it on my pizza last night.
No. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Another one I'm going to say, are you a night owl or an early bird?
I'm a night owl. Definitely a night owl.
Okay, right. We'll end it there because Right. So for the viewers, just tell us a little bit about who Kim. I do not. Please don't hate me if I say your surname wrong because I'm used to doing that. Kim Dunlop.
Yes, you got it right, Ad.
Brilliant. So just tell the viewers about who you are and what you do.
So for me, Adam, I am the dating doctor. And I'm very passionate about this business that I've created. I've always been in love with people and their stories and have been building relationships for quite a long time. So I created this business to actually help men and women really find love. And it's as simple as that, to go towards happiness and love. There's obviously a lot more in it than that. I want people to not second guess themselves. I want them to understand the expressions of who they are and how they're turning up, and whether it's in a relationship or in the dating world. I'm really, really passionate about it.
Brilliant. So would you say you're like be able to read someone about what type of partner they are or could be?
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because I do. I intuitively can actually feel someone by listening and understanding and sitting with them to actually work out potentially what's missing for them. Because generally when people are not stepping towards love, there's some resistance for them, or there's some past relationship or hurt that they haven't actually dealt with or considered. And I think it's really important that I suppose I'm just really conscious of people getting their needs met. And if we start to observe ourselves and explore what we want and take those steps forward, we then start to understand more about ourselves and then create that space to let someone else step in. So
absolutely. Please don't read me.
You're cute and gorgeous.
Okay. I'll take it as a compliment. Anyway, so tell the viewers about Kim as a little girl, like growing up. What type of person was she?
So for me, Adam, I was a really happy child. I had a very, I was very grateful for the life that I had. And whilst I failed my HSC, which is the equivalent of, I was a really good student, and I was always a people person, even in school. So always made friends with everyone, was a prefect and a house captain, and always conversed with people all the time. But yeah, it was probably the turning point for me was, and the reason I started to kind of look and start to observe myself more was about 30 years ago. That's probably where my story started. And look, my mum and dad, they split up at the age of when I was 17. And my dad is probably the reason, well, I know it's the reason why I've actually gone into this business, because he was a little bit hurt at the time breaking up with my mum. And he kind of projected his anger on me. So from a very young age, I had this awareness around, well, I'm really happy. Why is someone else sad, and why are they putting that on me? So this is one of the real fundamental pieces for me in really helping people find love, to really understand what you're drawing in, the partner that you're drawing in, who are you attracting, what's your chemistry, and so then I really refined that by falling in love with myself. And it does take work to really, like, point the finger and look at different things about yourself, but to understand, how we relate. And it's really important to understand how someone relates or how they communicate.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I believe relationships are missing that communication. Like with all COVID, obviously we'll get into this. Communication, it's just not there with relationships, is it?
It's not. And that is the key to success, is how are we communicating?
Yeah, because I remember me and my partner, we've been together 12 and a half years now, on and off. How I'm still breathing, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. She's watching as well, so she's going to like, you idiot. But anyway.
So what does that mean for you? Like, when you say, how am I breathing, is it because you're not speaking, or
No.
is, like, I'm curious?
See, like, I've already covered this. Kerry, I'll get to your question in a minute. 12 years, you have to question, do you actually know your partner? Because when COVID, all these restrictions came on, we actually thought, we was actually taking those steps to actually split it up permanently, break it with calling it. Like talking about different houses or what we're going to do with the kids, stuff like that. We was making that plan. But in reality, we actually grew stronger, and we actually got to know each other even more.
And therein lies the beauty, Adam. And so how did you do that? And this is what I teach to people. How are you relating? So how are you stepping in, and how are you sharing that message? Because when we stop and actually really become present, and we start using our voices.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
What do you think your secret was?
Balance.
Balance.
I'd say balance. Yeah. Probably you've never heard that before. I'd say balance, because I used to be an absolute idiot. I really did. Where I admit I was a crap father at first. I really was. I was unsupportive of my partner and everything like that. And I turned to the alcohol and social. But the best thing she ever did was give me an ultimatum. Socialising or family. And here I am, family.
But maybe there's a bit more to it as well. And this is what I want to open up for the viewers. Is sometimes, Adam, we don't know what to say, right? So even though you're putting yourself down, and I really respect that you are kind of acknowledging part of your behavior, and there's probably some truth in that. But the other piece is, and this is what I want to teach men and women, is how are you asking for your needs to be met? Because I feel that is the piece that's missing, because we can't read minds, Adam. No. We can't read people's minds. And so I share this with so many people, and because I'm asking questions of friends, and I then turn around and say to them, if I'm asking you 10 questions, how do you think your husband is expected to actually know what you want when I've asked you that? And they stop and they just go, oh, wow, because we find it difficult to actually ask for what we want.
Yeah, I agree. And Kerry's asked the Paul a question to you. Would you agree that friendship in relationships is something that can make it great?
I definitely agree. I think the friendship starts by the initial relating. I mean, if we talk about, say, sex, you know, everyone's diving in to have sex with everyone, but we haven't started the process first by actually relating to actually understand. And the beauty in what you and your partner did, Adam, was you started to get to know one another. Like, what's her cup of tea, or what's her coffee of choice? What's the top that she picks when she's having, you know, not a great day? Does she wear a certain outfit? Like, these are the pieces that we need to start to explore and to observe and to watch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the friendship will last, and that's the key.
Okay. Would you say long-term, like long-distance relationships, do they always work? Because I always come across that they don't.
So it's a personal choice. And this is where I will always speak very objectively. So it is a personal choice. So it's actually the person becoming really clear on whether or not they could have a long distance relationship. Now, I've got friends that can do it, and they're very comfortable with it because it gives them time and it gives them space, because they actually like downtime. So they understand how they operate. And so, whereas for me, if I was in a relationship, I would be creating healthy boundaries, and those boundaries would be communication during the week, a couple of cheeky text messages, and maybe seeing someone 2 to 3 times a week, you know? So it really depends on the individual, but that's the individual getting that clarity, and that's really key as well.
Absolutely. See, I'm with my partner every day, and we always have our downtime where we're like, right, go away, I need to breathe. So, and we do that. No ifs or buts. Hello, Karen Unruh, welcome. She's an entertainer. She really is. She's got a comment. Do you think too many rely on that early loving feeling and don't know what to do when that leaves?
Yes, I think it's a really good question. And I'll expand it even more by saying people are looking for love on the outside, and people are looking for chemistry on the outside in someone else. But the chemistry and the love starts with us. So if we are in a good state, or if we've had a fight with a friend and we go on a date or in a relationship and we want to talk about something that's really important for us, we need to look at ourselves first and stop. And it's really important to then go, okay, is this the right time to be having this conversation? Or, you know, if I'm going out on a date, am I in the right frame of mind? So really simple things just to consider.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally agree. On Facebook, because I've got 2 devices here. Hello, Lorraine Harris, all the way from Chicago.
Oh, hello.
Oh, yeah, we're full of it now. Yeah, UK, Chicago, we're all doing it. Right, I want to backtrack a little bit and obviously talk about sex and all that. Obviously, I've never done this live before, ever. So why do you think, whether it's a man and a man, woman and woman, man or woman, whatever, why are they so obsessed with sex at the first attempt as soon as they start talking?
So from my point of view, I feel that it's an easy go-to for people.
Right.
It doesn't involve necessarily talking about feelings or emotions, which is the deeper part of a relationship. So the sex is a physical act, and it is quite easy for most people to do, right? And it doesn't matter what relationship that you're in. I feel that it is a validation thing to actually prove to someone that they can actually do it. There's other pieces as well to it. So there's other elements where people, whether it's men or females, they need to know in their mind if the sex is going to be good and if the chemistry is going to be there. But the parts that are missing is what's going on in people's head when they're having sex. Are they thinking about a previous partner, or are they thinking about what they're going to do the next day? And so whether or not you're in a relationship or you're going towards a relationship, it's then looking at the beauty of that and looking at why you're giving that away. So we can choose to give it away. We can choose to have one-night stands. We can choose to be on the fun choo-choo train or go towards a relationship. But it's then working out what's really important for you in that relationship. And if that's an important piece, then that's great. But then does it then, kind of keep you on the surface? So that's kind of a question I want to throw out to the audience. Does it keep you on the surface, just having the sex part, but not going a bit deeper to share who you are and to share your feelings?
Absolutely. And obviously, Lorenz put hashtag being present in the moment. Yeah, please share this, everyone, as well. Let's get this out, because I know Kim's going to end up putting this in the Campfire Project anyway. So, yeah, we've got Sharon Chamello. She's from Brisbane, Australia. Sandy, whereabouts in Australia are you? Because I've never asked you, to be honest. But Karen Unroot, she's made a valid point. An orgasm is easier than real intimacy.
Yes, I can understand what she's saying, which kind of comes back to the physical form, right? So if she's saying that having an orgasm, like a lot of people define intimacy, look, it's got a lot of meaning, I should say, for a lot of people. And so I don't want to define it for everyone, but there's different forms of intimacy, right, that people can have. And you could even have intimacy with someone without actually having sex. So I totally understand what she's saying. Yeah. So she could be looking at it from a different perspective, which is, looking at it going, I want to get to know the person. And do you know what the piece is? It's the heart, and actually getting to know the person and their soul and the expressions of who they are. And so I feel in the dating world, because it has changed a lot to the old days, but a lot has changed. I mean, we've been going through COVID. So there's a lot of emotions that are coming up through this process. And that's the fundamental piece that a lot of people have not been working on, is how they work with their emotions.
Yeah, because I've noticed while we've been scrolling through Facebook or Twitter and everything like that, a lot more people's been getting pregnant these days in the last year.
So everyone's been getting busy, Adam, haven't they?
Not me. But anyway.
well, I mean, look, it's like a lot of people have been getting puppy dogs or animals, like since they've been in COVID. They're looking for things potentially on the outside which might be missing for them on the inside. Yeah. Just as a thought.
Hey, me and my partner, we've been spending time on podcasts a lot of time. So that's what we've been doing. But yeah, it's one of them. But yeah, Kerry's actually put I agree. Building the friendship and trust before sex is important. Yes, it is. Obviously, as Karen just reiterating what you said, opening up about being real requires more trust.
Yeah, I really like the fact that the girls just pointed that out. Trust and building friendship. So how do you build trust and friendship? And I really want to point to that because I think that's really important to share. Like, I trust people when I meet them. So when you reached out to me and I'm now with you for the first time, Adam, I can see the person who you are and I trust who you are. But building trust with someone, for me, and this is where people can start to explore that with themselves. What does it mean for you to trust? What do you need to see from the other person? Is it consistency? Is it opening up a door? Is it making you a cup of tea each day? What are those little things for you that builds trust or builds friendship? And, you know, what do you share with people? Or do you have to wait until someone asks you a question? Little things like that.
So I'm going to touch on trauma or PTSD or CPTSD there. What is the difference between somebody that doesn't have trauma or PTSD or anything like that, and they're in a relationship and they've got those trust issues, to somebody that does have trauma?
So it's a great question. And the way we all have elements of trauma. I'm just going to call that out. We all have our own experiences, our own trauma that we have experienced or endured through our lives. And in experiencing that, it creates a mental map, right? And when I say a mental map, in our minds, we hold those images, we hold those memories, and we hold those experiences. And it's how, and sometimes we don't choose what happens to us, but we can choose about how we step forward or how we respond to people. And in doing that, we all have work to do. We all have so much work to do. And it's a beautiful gift that we get given. But in saying that, it's just working out your boundaries. So that's kind of the key things. What are your boundaries and what's stopping you from sharing those boundaries in order to help you feel safe and, you know, have some level of trust or building that trust through sharing it. So I would say to viewers, work on that and work out what that is for you individually, because we all need it. And we talked about psychological safety the other day. And, you know, emotional psychological safety, mental psychological safety. And it was really a great thing. And it's just helping people become more aware of you. So it comes back to us to then be able to share. And look, it's scary stepping into a relationship because we're all putting our hearts on the line. We're unsure. But if we don't take that step forward, then we'll never see the preview of what's actually possible.
I agree. And I'll read these final comments and then we'll go back to you and your story. Kerry's put, allowing yourself to be vulnerable in front of your partner.
That's great.
That's a great comment. Karen, she's put a few. I found it's vital not to project hurt from a past relationship onto a new partner.
Yeah. I think that's really, really important, is looking at, say, your friend network to actually talk through that emotion before you go into a relationship. So then you're not sharing that necessarily straight away, but then slowly opening up. So I think it's important when you build on a relationship that you can slowly share that. But in the leading up, I think it's really important for all of us to either have a resource or have a friend that you can talk to about that, someone who's got the capacity to actually support you emotionally, because we all need it. We all need it.
Absolutely. Obviously, she put, we can't expect a partner to heal us.
I agree. we can look for people, we can do that work ourselves, have support people, the same thing, but we can share that, what's coming up for us sometimes once we've processed it a little bit, or sometimes we might need to share it straight away. So and then we see what sort of comes from that, if that person has the capacity to support you.
Absolutely. Let's go back to your story.
Yeah, so funny.
Obviously, you was a happy child growing up. You went through school and qualifications, stuff like that. When was the first day you found out, right, I want to change people's relationships, I want to help them?
Yeah, it's a great question. Fundamentally, I've always had this passion for people, to help people. And I realized that at the age of probably 25 that I wanted to save the world. So
I think we all do.
I think the biggest piece for me was I couldn't save the world if I didn't save myself. And I came from a European background, so my mum's European, and she gifted me very strong values. So I worked out my values and have been working on my values and living my values. And I think that's really important for me. And if you know your values, then you hold those values in the face of a relationship. So I always maintained amazing relationships throughout my life. The part is that I hadn't done the work on myself, which is pretty much the healing side. And so I did that 10 years ago and have been working on it for the last 10 years in a really refined way, understanding, why I was pushing my emotions down, because, and a lot of people might resonate with this, that I was kind of gifted a value or a belief, or the way that I took it was, if something went wrong in your life, you just got to pick yourself up and just get on with it. Absolutely. And I was in an environment, Adam, with a lot of men, and a lot of men I found culturally have been taught to be the strong ones. And so I held like a masculine energy, which was being this strong person, always getting on with things. Now I cry a lot, and I show my friends when I do cry, and I'm open to sharing those feelings, because we keep on pushing these down, and it's okay to kind of share those feelings and be emotional, because we're emotional beings. Like, there's no doubt about it. We are emotional beings. We can be passionate, we can be aggressive, we can be, happy, sad. So, it's really just looking at that and going, why do we keep on hiding from that? So, and that's really what got me into wanting to empower people to lead themselves. And if we're leading ourselves, then, and we're understanding more about who we are, then we can draw in who is a match and who's not showing us, different values, because a lot of us are calling in the opposite to what we truly want. And so if we understand what that resistance is and why we are stopping, ourselves from stepping forward. So, whether it's in a relationship or in the dating world, Adam, it's the preparation, how are we preparing ourselves? How are we turning up? What's the position that we're taking? Yeah. Do we, what is it that we want? What are our needs? What are our partner's needs? Are we asking those questions, which you said before? It's communication, bringing it back to the basics, I feel, is just, we've got so much technology.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Technology has come so far. It really has. Right. So, if you came across a couple that they've been married, 30 years, but there's domestic violence involved, and obviously what they both got trauma in their lives. What would you advise them?
So I want to be clear that it's about supporting people to do the work. So my role as a dating doctor is to support people, to facilitate them to take the steps that they want to go towards. So I empower people. I give them back the energy that they already have, and I give them the confidence that they already have within them. But we have been discounting ourselves for such a long time, Adam, that, you know, we all hold all this judgment on ourselves. We're not good enough and all this. We need to be doing more. And so that is the real true secret, is about gifting that back to the individuals. And so that is a very sensitive issue, and it would require being very delicate, very supportive, holding a different space from, you know, the way you speak, the tone, understanding truly what's going on and what's unfolding in that situation. It's very complex, as you know, and so from a high level, it would just be kind of stepping back and going, why is this unfolding? You know, what are the questions? You know, it's obviously not a behavioral piece that people would like to be in, right? And so how do we control that behavior? You know, and if that person is not able to take control of that behavior, because we have 4 powers, right? 4 powers. And our 4 powers, do you know what our 4 powers are that we have?
Listening.
So we've got 2 inner powers, and you're part of them, right? Thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
Right? Which can be impacted by listening.
Yeah.
And then the 2 outer powers are your speaking and your behavior. So in those sort of situations, you'd have to isolate 2 people to kind of understand what's going on, because there's anger involved. There's some, and I think, you know, it's just becoming aware of whether that person is aware of their behavior, if it's uncontrollable. So it's kind of stepping back, looking at that, understanding why they are reacting. So when we start to turn it around and start to respond.
See, when you asked that question of the 4, my partner's actually guessed empathy.
Empathy.
Yeah.
So that's another superpower. So we have superpowers. And so some people, so your partner, if she's sharing that word, I bet you 100% that she actually holds empathy for people.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah. And it's like values, Adam. You cannot gift someone your values. You can understand their values through knowing yours. And so your partner probably holds that as one of her superpowers. She has empathy.
Yeah. There's a question, and then obviously I've got a question as well. Karen's put, do you think it's important to recognise other people's love language? It was a turning point for her to see her partner didn't show or receive love the same way she did.
Definitely, 100%. It's really important. But I loved how she said, do you think it's important to see others' love language? I will flip it back and say it's important to then understand yours, to then see it in someone else. And so my love language is touch and words of affirmation. And so I know that so well within myself that if I don't see it in another partner, I just sort of share that, oh, I noticed that I touched you and you didn't touch me back. Is there something within that? What's that about? And so I'm not about to change them. It's more around the resistance. So it's then seeing it and understanding and talking about it.
Yeah.
And then them recognizing, going, yep, I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm just holding back because you're quite open and I'm actually quite closed. So then it all comes out.
Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely.
My question, I'm in loads of mental health groups on different social media platforms, and I keep coming across posts from people saying, oh, my partner's cheated on me and stuff like that. Do you think trust can be rebuilt after someone's cheated?
I do. And I know people that have actually been in that relationship. The question I will pose, I will say a statement is, it's a choice. If you then choose to then bring that up again and keep on bringing it up when it's been resolved, because you need to look at resolving it, what has unfolded and why they did what they did, what was missing for them, which is what made them go towards that. So I don't judge people who actually have chosen that. I've come across people who I know, a lot of people who have made that choice. And I say to them, the choice is to actually take ownership of your behavior, because it was a behavioral thing, right?
Yeah.
And you have some thoughts in your head around wanting to go towards that because it might have been potentially missing in your relationship. So then it's having that conversation, as we said before, Adam, to then work out. But I feel that you could torment yourself if you were to go back and you lost trust and you couldn't build that again. But you would have to do the work as well to start building that trust again.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I know quite a few relationships that the partner has cheated, and even though it's been resolved, that partner that was cheated on constantly pestering about it. Like the anxiety is still there.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel for those people because they're creating it. So they're creating more about that situation, whereas the other person probably feels like it's been resolved. But if that person is holding that energy, Adam, that they feel it's unresolved, comes back to the same thing. You sharing with your partner, this is what I need, right? Which comes back to our basic needs. This is what I need to know. To then resolve it, but in a mature way, to be able to step forward, because some people don't necessarily want to step forward, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay because they're not ready for it.
Okay, yeah. Karen's put, what about the paranoia that results, for example, late from work, private phone calls?
So I would say go with your gut and then use your voice and go, if there's something that's coming up for you and you feel it, share that feeling with the person and saying, I'm noticing this, but there's a way of actually framing it rather than attacking the person, just understanding. So look to seek to understand, and then you can kind of get a bit of a flow. The words will come out. You'll start to then see and get your feedback. And when you get your feedback, then you can make that choice to either stay in that relationship or say, look, I'm not feeling, safe around this. I'm not trusting. So then it's giving you that feedback to then look at either stepping in a different direction and going, okay, great. They've given me that feedback. They're not my person. I'm now going to go towards my person. So it's just giving you the preview.
Exactly. As the saying goes, no pain, no gain. Would you believe that?
When you say no pain, no gain, I mean, are you implying that the hurt, is it the hurt, Adam?
I wouldn't say the hurt. I'd say, because obviously there are brilliant people out there like my partner. She's absolutely awesome. And obviously I've admit we've had our rocky times. I think all relationships have the rocky times because that's healthy. But
I agree.
But if somebody's like once or twice cheating on their partner, but then and after they resolved it and then they go back and do it again, I think it's like on your bike. See you later. Yeah. It's like it'll be their loss, but your gain. Because then you're gaining that opportunity to focus on yourself again, bring your own identity back out in the world.
I agree. And it's such great feedback. And I know it's hurtful in those situations, really extremely hurtful. But there's something in that person that you were attracted to. And so it's then updating that piece for you, for your ideal partner to go, they've shown me a gift, which is that they don't hold the same value that I hold. And if you're loyal, which is the loyalty piece, right, that person has potentially got an underlying pattern. And so this is where it comes back to the mental health side of things. Yeah. And when I say that in the sense that we're always thinking. And so there's not a bad term around the mental health. We're always thinking and analyzing and watching and seeing and observing. And so it's just understanding more about what's going on for us and what's going on for that person, and having that compassion, like your partner said, and empathy.
Yeah, it goes back to what you said, that we've all got that trauma. We've all got it. Right, let's talk about your involvement with the Campfire Project. How did it all come along, like when you first was introduced to the Campfire?
So it's quite a funny story, actually.
Alan's gonna see this.
So I actually met a guy in my coaching circle, and he was from Melbourne, and I'd been to a men's conference, and Alan was actually speaking at it, but I never met him at the conference. And so 2 months later, fast forward 2 months later, this guy that I met on this coaching course, he turned around and he said, "Oh, Kim, you need to meet this guy called Alan Stevens." And I went, "Oh, wow, who's he?" And he said, "Oh, he's a profiler. So he's an international face profiler." And I said, "Oh, wow, sounds great." So I reached out to Alan, sent him a message. We organised a Zoom, Adam. Now, you've met Alan, and and given that he is a face profiler, he can profile people's faces. So the day that we were booked in to have a Zoom, I'm very technology challenged, so sometimes my Zoom doesn't work. And so this day, Adam, my Zoom wasn't working. So I'm there going, and so Alan turns around and he said, "Oh, well, usually people, when their Zooms are not working, they're usually hiding." And I turned around and I said, "Oh, I can tell you now, I'm not hiding." So I said, "I'm very open." And we then met up face to face, Adam, and we literally spent 3 hours just talking when we first met. So we both just went, blah. Alan would probably say that I went, blah. So, I'm very grateful to know Alan and have become really close to him, and have been involved and very lucky to even be doing some interviews now with some of the people in the Campfire group.
Yeah, well, Alan's coming on this show in 2 weeks anyway, so yeah. Oh, I need to bring you back for that then. You need to come on with us, yeah.
We can have a three-way conversation, yes.
Yeah, let's do it then. Let's do it.
Well, we had a discussion the other day on dating, which I mentioned to you earlier, and so we had a panel discussion, and Alan was he was right into it. So yeah,
I seen that video. I seen it. I seen the one as well where you're wearing, I think it was a wig.
Well, I was wearing a hat.
It was a hat. It looked like a wig.
That's what Alan thought too. He said the same thing.
You just never know, do you? You never know.
I know. I was being funny. I was being a bit funny and I said, "Oh, which hat are we wearing today?" So it's a good thing for relationships, right? Which hat are we wearing, each day? We in the happy hat, or in the sad hat, or we're in the pissed off hat?
Yeah. So obviously you host your own interviews on the Campfire now, and when it comes to me, I've only ever been interviewed just by Alan.
Oh, really?
No one else.
So maybe, is that an offering?
Who knows? Who knows? Hey, I jump at any opportunity, me. Any opportunity.
We'll check in with Alan and find out.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, well, my partner's never been on it anyway, so yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's
been in the Campfire. Yeah, she's been in the Campfire close to 2 years now, and she's never been interviewed yet. Like, she's not stepped up. I found that confidence, but now she's found it.
Oh, so she's found her comfort zone, so she's going to step up now?
Yeah. She just put a comment now. She wants to be interviewed on the Campfire. She wants to.
Oh, that's amazing. Because Alan wants that. But as we said before, it's just knowing when you're ready. So with anything, stepping forward in anything. And it takes time, as we know.
Exactly. But yeah, it's so. What's next for Kim? Like, is she going to be writing a book? Is she what?
Yeah, I think I might actually start writing a book. I've got a lot of material. So I've been working on this material for probably about the better half of 10 years now. And I'm going to be, I've been doing a bit on Instagram and, Facebook. But I'm going to set up some programs, like interactive programs for people. Because I'm finding that sometimes people are a little bit, how should I say, a little bit scared, a bit like your partner, just knowing when to step in. And sometimes there's a little bit more comfort in having something online. And if I've got a few videos to help people to become a bit more interactive in that way, because we were put on this earth, all of us, I believe, to look for love and also find love within ourselves. And, it's really like, it's just beautiful. And like, it's so lovely when we find that. And as you said, there's tough times, like it's not, an easy road, and we all have difficult times. And, COVID's presented a lot of different things for a lot of people. But it's turning inward, right? And turning inward to ourselves and going, what do we need? And start asking, but finding that safe person or that safe place to talk about that, to start sharing, because that's where the gold is. That's where all the magic is. And if we start sharing that, we all get excited about, and look, one of the things I do want to say to people, if anyone's looking for a relationship or in a relationship, is, and this could be a good thing that you could do for your partner as well, Adam, is write down what you look for in a partner, because there could be some gaps there. And there could be some things that you write down and you go, this is what I'm looking for. And then you could see whether or not your partner would consider that. And she could have similar things. So it's then growing that relationship and expanding it, over the weeks, right? And that's what I say to people in starting off in a dating relationship. If they're starting out, slowly share with people over time what you're looking for. To see whether or not they're willing to actually meet you there. Because if it's something that you really like, so you might say, I like jet skiing, or you might like mountain biking, or you might like hiking, right? That it's something that you've been holding within and you might not have actually explored it, but you go, oh, I remember when I did that 20 years ago. I really love that.
See, the difference between me and my partner is I love the outdoors. I really do. I love it. But my partner is totally opposite.
So therein lies the opportunity to explore that and do it little bits to see. Because I know people that have stepped into that for their partners to see whether or not, and they might actually see some enjoyment, because we don't know what we don't know. And it could be something else. They could be scared of snakes. They could be scared of falling over. Like, it could be all these little things that we haven't explored yet. So it's worthwhile putting it out there. Hey.
I'm glad you mentioned fear, because I'm going to start shaking because I can't stand them. My partner, Kerry, she keeps laughing at me because I've got a phobia of moths.
Oh, I think that's really great that you're sharing it, because that's a form of vulnerability, right? I'm scared of spiders, Adam. I'm scared of spiders. I'm scared of snakes. I'm scared of burglars.
Huh?
Well, I mean, like, safety comes back to safety and trust.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and this is the thing. So it's little things like that that we share with people to go, is it okay to kind of share that? I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. But either way, Karen wants to get interviewed and Kerry wants to get interviewed by you. So.
Oh, really? Yeah. I'll have to check.
Let's do this. Let's do this. But all I've got to say is thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me, Adam. It's been great.
You're most welcome. And I will get you in the dive for 2 weeks, the same time as Alan. But it won't be this time because it'll be my 10 p.m. that night. So it'll be God knows what time your next morning. I don't know.
And will you be dancing? Are you a dancer?
No. I don't dance.
That was a really straight answer, wasn't it? No, I don't dance. No. Now, does your partner dance?
She likes dancing.
Oh, so maybe that's something you could explore for her. I like this, right? Maybe. And then she could explore the hiking. Oh, well, look at that. Look at that, Adam, eh?
Well, because it's a heat wave here, I said to her, why don't we go up to our local tower, which is a few miles ahead of us? And she went, no. So maybe
it's the heat. Maybe it's the heat. I'd be asking the question because I know that.
That's an excuse.
Well, I know that I don't like going out in the heat when it's really hot. And so I would go hiking. So maybe if you pick a cooler day, I mean, we're talking the UK. Is there really such a thing as heat waves?
Hey, we've got this for the next few days, but I guarantee we're going to get a month of rain. We're going to get punished for this.
Well, then ask her, would she go out in the rain? Because I actually like going walking in the rain, Adam.
I love the rain. Even when it's raining during the night and it wakes me up, I don't fall back asleep straight away. I actually just lie there and listen to the rain because it's so soothing. It's really beautiful. Is. I love it.
I love it too. I love it too.
But anyway, thanks for coming on. You've been awesome. And thanks to everyone. Please share this in awareness. And I've got the diary here. I'm not on now until 6 p.m. tonight with an addiction coach.
Oh, wow.
But Kerry, she's going to be live at 1 p.m. today with Daniel Pace. Please tune in for that. And on that note, I'm going to end this now. Is there any last words you want to say, Kim?
No, it's been wonderful. Thanks, Adam. It's so great to kind of connect with another country in COVID. Look how amazing this is. And all the other countries.
Absolutely. Right. See you later.